Greetings. You are tuned into Wi-Fi 180 degrees, where we not only connect our knowledge, but also marvel at the creator of it all. I am Keith Whitley, and today we will discuss a spot in the desert where the wind carves everything it touches. There is one mountain the wind did not make. Its sides were once smooth as polished glass. Its white casing stones caught the sun and threw it back across the valley. Travelers swore it did not look built, it looked placed. We call it the Great Pyramid of Giza. Most of us have heard the simple explanation, a tomb for a king, a royal grave marker in overachiever mode. But just suppose it is something else. Long before tourists and textbooks, a prophet named Isaiah wrote of an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a monument at its border, a sign and a witness unto the Lord of hosts, in the midst of Egypt, at its border. Ancient Egypt was split in two, upper and lower, two crowns, two regions, and there at their meeting point stands a mountain of stone, on the border, in the midst. Isaiah calls it an altar, a monument, a sign, a witness. If you were looking around Egypt for something that fits all four, you would not get far past Giza. Now, if this were just another pyramid, we could stop there. But the Great Pyramid refuses to behave. For one thing, no pharaoh ever carved his name inside and said, "This is mine." No mummy has ever been found there, and the walls, blank, no hieroglyphs, no prayers to Ra, no funerary spells. In a land that wrote on everything, this one great monument says nothing. Other pyramids hunker over chambers underground. This one climbs. Its most important rooms are above ground level, reached by ascending passages, culminating in a granite-lined chamber they call the King's Chamber. In that chamber stands exactly one object, a stone chest broken at the corner, empty and waiting. A strange sort of tomb, with no king, no carvings, and a single, silent box. Some very old traditions whisper another possibility, that this was once known as Enoch's Pillar. Enoch, the man who walked with God and was not, for God took him. In that telling, Enoch received more than visions. He received a pattern, a design from the architect of the earth itself. Egyptian hands may have cut the blocks, but the blueprint, they say, came from heaven. Centuries later, on another hill in another land, a temple would rise in Jerusalem. At its heart was the Holy of Holies, the most sacred room in Israel. Only one object was allowed in that space, the Ark of the Covenant. Scripture gives the Ark's dimensions in cubits, 2.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. Convert those and you get a volume that closely matches the interior of that lonely stone coffer in the Great Pyramid's King's Chamber. One chamber in Egypt, long sealed, one chamber in Jerusalem, long awaited, each with a single central container, each tracing the same outline in the air. Coincidence? Perhaps. But then the King's Chamber itself also shares the proportions of that Holy of Holies. A room in a desert pyramid, echoing the size of Israel's most sacred space. And the pyramid was here first. If the temple followed a pattern, where did the pattern begin? When God finally answers Job from the whirlwind, he sounds less like a philosopher and more like a builder. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Who marked off its dimensions? Who stretched a measuring line across it? Foundations, measurements, cornerstones, constellations. The Lord describes himself as the master architect of earth and sky. Stand back from the Great Pyramid, and what do you see? A monument of measurements. Its proportions hint at mathematical constants. Its placement brushes against key lines of landmass on the globe. Its passages and shafts align with the heavens in ways that keep astronomers talking. If this is an altar and a pillar, its language is geometry. Then there are the numbers that make people lean in. The passage in Isaiah that speaks of that altar and pillar adds up letter by Hebrew letter to a total. Some have linked to the pyramid's height in special units, and those gleaming casing stones that once covered the pyramid's sides. They are estimated to have numbered around 144,000. In the book of Revelation, 144,000 appears again as the number of those sealed as God's own. A monument sealed in stones in the desert. A people sealed in a vision of the future. Same number, different sermons. And at the very top of the Great Pyramid, where all four sides rise to meet, there is no stone. The capstone, the head, is missing. The psalmist wrote, "The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone." Jesus took that line and quietly applied it to himself. Some see that unfinished summit at Giza and hear an echo, a house still waiting for its true capstone, a story still waiting for its final stone. There are even those who say the pyramid's inner passages trace a timeline each inch, a year of human history bends and chambers marking turning points from creation to Christ to the modern age. Others shake their heads and call that wishful thinking in a very old hallway. Either way, the questions remain. What are we to make of this mountain of stone that has no boastful king, no carved gospel of pagan gods, a chamber like a holy of holies, a coffer like an ark, numbers that rhyme with Isaiah and Revelation, and a missing capstone where the head should be? You do not have to believe that Enoch drew its plans. You do not have to believe its corridors count down to the end of the age. You may decide it is nothing more than an anonymous masterpiece of ancient engineering. But if Isaiah's altar and pillar, Job's master builder, Revelation's sealed multitudes, and the rejected cornerstone all cast their shadows across this one monument in the sand, then the Great Pyramid is not just a wonder of the ancient world. It is a question, carved in stone, pointing away from itself, upward. And if the stones really do cry out, this one may have been calling for a very long time. You've just heard one more possibility about a monument in the desert and the God some believe it remembers. And now you know the truth about the Great Pyramid. Subscribe to this channel because we are going deeper. We are not done with other Bible revelations. There is more that we have yet to uncover together.